ball team. Represented the Big 12 very well. If you will, before we get going, introduce the players you have with you.
Okay, I've got Enoch. I've got Billy, better known as Tyron. Chuba, you know, smile a little bit, Chu. Justin and Taylor. You want me to opening statement?
Opening statement. Go ahead, Coach.
So,
You need a mic. Hey, share that mic. There you go.
Okay. First off, I'd like to thank AutoZone and the Liberty Bowl for a fantastic week. The city of Memphis and everybody involved. It's been tremendous. This was a very, very traditional bowl, somewhat like back in the day when I played 100 years ago. And we had a great week, and we're very appreciative. Weather worked out for everybody perfect. I was glad that we're able to play the game in the right way. And wanted to congratulate Coach Odom in Missouri. They're first class. He's a first-class guy. Got to know them a little bit this week. Their team is really good. They compete. We knew that we had to play really physical football in order to give ourselves a chance to win. So I couldn't be any more proud, but it's been a terrific week for us. And these guys were willing to pay the price for a month and come together as a group. Coaches made adjustments. And like a lot of games that we play in our conference, as I said on the press conference a few days ago, that Missouri would fit right in, and it ended up being somewhat of a shootout, and defense made a play at the end. There was turnovers that were big plays, but in the end we found a way to get a stop on 4th and 1. Couldn't be any more proud of the guys sitting at this table with the leadership, and couldn't be any more proud of our team, especially rallying when we lost a few guys with the targeting, and then when Rodriguez got hurt, we were down several guys in the secondary. In fact, if one more would have went down, I'm not sure who would have went in at that time. But I was proud of those guys for competing and making plays and finding a way to win in the end.
Questions? If you'll raise your hand, we'll get a mic to you.
Hi, Mike. Darren Miter from Payne Media Group. You brought up the targeting situation. I know the culture is to make safer. Have they gone too far on that rule? As you said, you were victim of it tonight. We've seen it all year, though. What could be done to tweak that?
I think the correct calls were made based on the rule. We know what the rule is. Our guys were really wired up to play physical football. We knew that we had to play physical. So we have to do a better job of coaching them, of staying below the chest. I think the rule needs to stay intact because ultimately we want the game to become safer. It's a violent game as it is. It's a tough man's game. So when we can stay from the chest down, it'll make it better. I hate to see players go out, but I think in the end that's the only way we're ever going to control it. So we have to do a better job of coaching them and drilling them when they get in that situation to keep the hits below the chest.
Taylor and Mike, can you guys just talk about offensively tonight? Taylor, it was kind of a roller coaster for the offense for you. What was that like? And then, Mike, just reflect on what Taylor did tonight, but then also just what he did throughout the season for you guys.
Go ahead, Taylor.
I mean, it all started up front with the offensive line. And then we got the ball rolling in the second half. We made some holes for Chuba, and he got through there. And then Tyron had a bunch of big plays tonight too. He stepped up big. Really everybody did. Stoner had some unbelievable catches. Third downs, Wolf did too. The list goes on and on.
So really, Taylor, he missed a couple throws, but so did their guy. He made one mistake, and he knows the second interception. He has to have a biological clock going off. And the one thing that happens with quarterbacks in spread offenses is the field is so spread and there's guys running all over the place that sometimes they try to make a play every single time. And it's okay to pull it down and run or throw it away. But that's going to happen sometimes. Other than that, his game was really, really good. His mental approach and the way he handled their defense was really good.
Mike, you guys obviously had some communication issues having coaches on the sideline. When did you guys learn that was going to have to be the case? You weren't be able to communicate with the box, and how did that affect you guys throughout the game?
They told us 10 minutes or so before we went on the field what was going to be the final result with communication. The home side, or whatever side that was that Missouri was on, theirs was up and running, but ours wasn't. And it's interesting with headsets is it's a gentleman's agreement on what you do. The officials don't control it. So to a certain extent, Missouri could use their headsets. At some point, we might need to adjust that rule, but Coach Odom's a first-class guy, and we talked about it before the game, and he said, if you guys don't have them, we'll put ours down. So we decided to each one of us put a couple guys up top with a telephone, old school stuff. Everybody else came down at the bottom. I thought it went pretty smooth for us, but as you know, we call plays, and our quarterbacks control most of what happens out there anyway. So Mike did a great job. Jim's on the ground anyway, and he was able to function like always, but Mike did a nice job of adjusting. And Coach Knowles had to work without information, which is not as easy. So both guys did a nice job throughout the game.
Steve McGargy, Associated Press. For Taylor, just what former walk-on you end your college career by tying a Liberty Bowl record with touchdown passes? Just what does this kind of mean for you to end your career this way?
I mean, it's a great honor. I mean, great feeling to just go out on top. I mean, as long as we get the win, that's all that matters to me. I don't care about the records.
Good? Oh, go ahead.
Right there.
Hey, Mike, there's a report out there that Mike Yursich is leaving. Can you tell us anything, whether that may be true or what details are out there?
Nothing other than what we talked about yesterday. There's a lot out there at this time. There's a lot of coaches moving around, and so it would be unfair. And I'm going to say the same thing I said yesterday. There are a lot of schools that are interested in Mike. It's not anything different. It's been that way every year. And so at some point, he'll have to make a decision on his career. And as a follow-up from yesterday, we would love to keep him for a long time, but at some point he may move on. And I'm sure we'll know, well, I say in the next few days, but anything can happen. But at this point, nobody's told me that there's anything that's concrete.
Mike, and then and Justin as well. Mike, on the fourth down play, it looked like one of the last things you were signaling to the guys was to watch out for Locke to pull it. And then Justin, if you could take us through what you guys were reading on that play and what you saw.
Go ahead, Justin.
So pretty much, you know, it was a great play ultimately by our young safety.
Is that not working, that microphone?
So yeah, ultimately it was a great play by our young safety, Kobe Peel. You know, at that type of moment during the game, you know, everybody's just trying to be disciplined and just make sure you got your eyes on your keys and things like that. So I think everybody, you know, was disciplined at that moment in time, and everybody played their role, and he came up with a big stop for us. You know, I have to go back and watch the film, but he made a great play.
Coach will have to go over that with you. I know he had to do two things. If I'm not a defensive guy, but I know he had to be prepared for a pipe play-action pass and had to run the guy down. So that's why it was a really good play. And everybody else is kind of cramming up the middle, right, Coach? So he had to make a play, and he turned the Jets on. Like Justin said, he got the Jets going there. So it's a heck of a play for a freshman.
Tyron, obviously they put a lot of coverage on Tylen. Talk about your performance elevating to kind of make up for them kind of trying to shut him down.
I mean, the O-line gave Cohen, time in the pocket to make throws, and Cohen did a great job today. And the safety was kind of like cheating over to 2, and we knew that coming into the game. So I knew when my number was called, I would have to make the play.
Tyron, it seems like you have some of your best games in the biggest games that you guys play. What is it about these big games that you kind of get up for, maybe more than some of the others?
I don't know, man. I love big games. Like, I'm a high school coach. I always get on me, man. We'll play, like, homecoming game, and I'll be like, I won't play or something like that. And we come big-time games, I come make plays. And it's just confidence in myself, confidence in my team. These guys, tremendous guys, great coach. Coach Gundy got us fired up for the game. And we was really fired up to play, and it was awesome, man, just to play with my brothers and send the seniors out on a good note.
Mike, just to kind of tack on to what Jenny asked about Mike, and she mentioned there's a report out there. The report says that his office is already cleaned out. I don't know if you can shed any light on that. But that's what.
Where was that report from?
Robert Allen.
I got no idea what his office looks like, to be honest with you. I mean, seriously, I don't know. Let's just say with the bowl right now and these guys that played a great game, I know you got to do your job, but let's just stay with the bowl and the performance and everything going on here right now. No disrespect. I mean,
I got to follow up and ask what Coach Gundy did to get you guys fired up for the game.
Don't tell him.
Nah, y'all can't hear that. We can't get y'all that as exclusive right there.
My mom would tip over back home. So I'll just say this. I asked them to take the challenge of playing in the SEC and being more physical than them in a different way, different language. But other than that's what I asked them to do. And they did. And I want to say this, like Enoch and the guys that are here, this is the way we used to play. Tonight we played like we used to play in 07 and 08 and 09 when we were trying to establish Oklahoma State football, and we were physical, we competed. This is the way we used to play, and this is the way we have to get back to playing. I'll say that. And they took the challenge, all of them, even like guys running the football, were physical, okay, across the board. And I appreciate their effort and their willingness to take the challenge and compete against a really, really good team that's in a physical league.
Brian Brinkley, KFOR TV. Coach, you mentioned playing in the Big 12 and what you had to deal with there with shootouts and things like that. Did that, combined with the kind of crazy roller coaster season you have, kind of pay off tonight in keeping your poise there in the fourth quarter?
I think it did. Defensively, our guys, we had them backed up a couple times, and they made plays. There were several times that we had them in third and longs, and if we had to do it all over again, it might not have gotten to this point, but they have a really, really good offense and a quarterback that's fantastic. Just like the play made on 4th and 4 to convert at the end. I mean, we got him. We got a great call. We're in his face. Our coverage is not bad. He makes a throw falling down. So I think all the shootouts that we've been in, these guys have been in them for 4 years. I think it did help.
Don Wade, the Daily Memphian. Mike, could you just kind of take us through the fake punt call, what you saw that made you want to go with that, and then how big getting the block right after that on that series?
Well, we had a good call. And Hawk had actually thought that the guy was going to run him down from the backside. And so he stayed outside. If he would have had to do it over again, he would stick his foot in the ground and go vertical and have a really good chance to get there. But he kind of felt the guy that he really shouldn't have felt. But at that time, I felt like we needed momentum. We had numbers. We had worked it for a month. I think it was 4th and 9. We would prefer it to be 6 or less, obviously, because we ended up a couple yards short. That was kind of the call, but we had practiced it so much and it was there that we wanted to use it. And then our defense came out and made a play. We put them in a tough position down there and at a crucial point in the game, and they were able to get a stop. And then I think Mike Scott got both blocks, didn't he? And Mike came through and tipped one and forced a miss earlier and then got the block later. And very well could have been the biggest play of the game.
For Enoch or Justin, the last 3 bowl games you guys have played in, you've won all 3, and the defense has stepped up in all 3 of those. Can you kind of does that month of rest, how much does that help you guys on defense heading into a game like this after coming out of November in the Big 12?
I'll let Justin answer because I've been a part of the last two, so he can answer that, and then I'll go in.
So yeah, first, our coaches and our staff, they do a great job of, taking care of our bodies and preparing us for the bowl week and the bowl game. Just on the defensive side, it's just a mentality. You go in and play somebody else from a different league, and you just, you turn on a different mentality out there, and you try to, just step up for the conference you with. And, I mean, everybody's just playing for each other out there, playing for the ones in on our side. So, I mean, right there, it's just, we turn on a different mentality.
I would say the break gives us time to prepare more mentally instead of physically, because to me, football is 90% mental. So it allows us to rest our body, going with the 2 days on, 1 day off, like Coach Gundy always says. It allows us to spend time together in the film room. We all can give our point of view on certain things that we see, whether the offensive lineman, he cheats down or he looks before he goes a certain way. So I feel like it was really evident in the victory today.
To Chuba and to Tyron, you guys obviously had some seniors on this offense that you could learn a lot from, but I'm curious from Taylor, a guy that took over that quarterback position, what do you take away from him most as you guys head into next year as a couple of the leaders on this offense?
Taylor was very poised. You'll never see him get rattled in situations like big games, fourth quarter. He always keep his cool, and he a leader by example. So we follow him, and we win as far as he took us, and we got a bowl win. He got MVP. So it's great to have like leaders on your team that you can look up to and learn things from and pass it down. So keep passing it down, and it just established that culture Coach Gunny talks about. And every year you're gonna see a new leader because he learned from the people in front of him.
Any other questions for the players?
I think, everyone that interviews us at Oklahoma State knows that I love Corn, and, I always supported him, and, obviously he's got some hate and stuff, but I always supported him. He's a great guy on and off the field, and, I wish I could, back him up, say some stuff back to some of the people that were hating on him, but yeah, nah, I'm okay. I'll say that for when it's just us. But, yeah, he's awesome. I think everyone on the team knows that. And, I'm really lucky to be able to run behind him and block for him and stuff. So, yeah, he's an awesome guy. I'm really happy to have him as my QB.
Give me a big hit. Any other questions for players? Don? Yeah. Have it Don wait.
Scott, what do you got, man? Oh.
We'll come get you.
There's so much focus on offense, not just your team, but your league and all that. How satisfying was it for you guys to make the defensive stand there at the end, even though Roundtree got big yards, he couldn't get the yards that were needed most at the end?
It was very important for us to, not focus on what the offense did, because we knew that one play can be the difference in the game. So we went out there, we stayed focused. Some of us were tired, but we had to put that behind us because Coach Gundy preaches no fear, no fear, no frustration, no fatigue. And we went out there, put our hands in the dirt. They said hike. We had to do what we had to do to help our team come out victorious. And we know that everybody focuses on the offense, but we know Coach knows he talks about us having a singular focus and us doing what we need to do. The offense can do what they need to do, but ultimately, defense gets on the field, and they have to make a stop. And if the other team doesn't score, offense can make all the plays they want to, but defense, we're going to shine one way or another.
That's good. Question on the far side.
Chuba and Tyron, just to follow up on what you were talking about earlier. When you look around the locker room at the guys that are coming back and to finish with some momentum the way that you did, what kind of excitement do you feel about the group that you've got coming back?
I mean, we're young, and, we had a lot of young players playing this year, so, it's a good feeling to end on a win, especially for the seniors, but, we know we got a lot to work on, and we know what we're capable of, so, yeah, it was awesome.
Kind of what Chuba said. You always want to finish the season on a good note, with a win. just establish that culture, establish a winning culture. So you don't want to leave going into next year with a loss. You want to leave with a win and build off it. And young guys stepping up next year, like myself, we gotta get ready in February. It's gonna start right back up. So winning a bowl game is a momentum going into next season, always.
Any other questions for coach or players? One more.
Mike, for those of us that don't watch the Big 12 week in and week out, this felt like a game with a lot of craziness to it. But was it like kind of, from your perspective, a little more normal than that, except for maybe the headset issues at the beginning?
This was pretty normal for Big 12 play. As I said earlier, you need to watch more Big 12. That way you can decide who to cheer for, and then you'll have to start getting on heart medicine if you watch our teams play, if you pick out a team. But this is a, one team could be up by 12 or 14, and then you turn around 4 minutes later and they're behind. And the coordinators, offense coordinators in our league, are fearless when it comes to throwing the ball down the field over and over and over and over. So defenses are in tough situations, unlike other leagues, in my opinion. And so quarterback plays fantastic, just like today. Missouri's quarterback was fantastic, and Corn Dog was the same way. Wideouts will go get the ball and not scared to throw it down the field. I'm going to guess if you started 8 or 10 years ago in the Liberty Bowl, you may have 3 or 4 deep balls thrown in the entire game, and we probably had 3 or 4 thrown in the first 6 minutes of the game today, and that's the difference with the play in our league, and even with other leagues now that are starting to lean toward doing the same thing the Big 12 does offensively.